Hi everyone, it's Sue Plumb here to share another scrapbook process video with you. Today I am sharing a pocket page process video. And this pocket page that I am sharing was created as a companion page to go with my mixed media layout that I shared last Monday. You can see it there. And it was created for Cocoa Vanilla Studio using the new No Limits collection. Now the layout that I shared last Monday has a photo of my hubby and my son on it that I snapped while they were out doing some work in our yard. And I wanted to extend on this story with a few more photos, and I also wanted to tell a bit of the story behind it about my son. So I thought a companion page to go with my main layout would be appropriate. Now, if you saw my last video, you will know that I was also working with scraps. They are the scraps that I had still sitting on my desk because I did create this pocket page immediately after I finished the other layout because I like to do it when I'm on a roll. So I still had those scraps on my desk and I pulled in a few other items from the collection. Now, being a pocket page, of course, I pulled in the pack of pocket cards. And given that I am dealing with smaller pockets, I also pulled in the A5 paper stack that you can see there because, of course, they are smaller scale papers that work really well on pocket pages. So let's get into it. Now, if you saw the previous pocket page process video that I shared, you would have learnt from that when I do these pages, I work from left to right, top to bottom. Pretty much like you read the page of a book. And that's just the way that my analytical mind works, my logical mind works, whatever you want to call it. But I always start in the top left and work my way down to the bottom right. So the first thing I want to do is I want to find something to use as a backing piece for this first pocket. Now, I pulled out a selection of A5 papers there. And I ended up deciding on that yellow one because I put the page next to it. Now, usually I try to pick some sort of element from the main layout to carry across to the pocket page because when they're sitting side by side in the album, you want there to be cohesion between the two pages so that people instantly recognize that those two pages are meant to be together. They're not separate stories. So, as I said, I chose that yellow print paper for my top left pocket, but it didn't stay there. Even though I did have some of that paper on my main layout, once I actually went through, as you can see, I've already gone through and I've picked my backgrounds for each of those pockets. So I've used a couple of pocket cards in the center row, and I've also used a part of the cut apart sheet down in the bottom right corner. And when I looked at it all laid out on the page like that, I realized I needed to change that yellow paper. There just wasn't enough of that color on the page to make it work. And I really like to have things coordinated. So I changed my mind as I can. And I went back to that paper there that's got that beautiful sort of watercolor mixed media style background on it. Now, that little black piece of paper that I am working with there was also one of the scraps that was still sitting on my desk. It was a tiny piece of paper and somebody probably would have thrown that away, but I knew that I could put it to use on this page and I did. So for my first pocket there, I've got my little 6x4 piece of paper that I've cut from the A5 paper stack. I've torn off a couple of pieces from that scrap of the black paper that's got the starry print on it. And I'm just putting those at the top and bottom of that piece of paper just to create a frame because that's the card where I'm going to put a title in. Now, I don't always create a title when I do these pocket pages, particularly if I have created them to go alongside another page that does all the talking. But I really wanted to use these die cut title words because I love them and why not? So I used the title there, You're Awesome, because I was explaining on this page more about my son and the fact that he really loves to help his dad out in the yard with any projects, gardening projects, DIY, building things, whatever it might be. He's the first one to volunteer his services and get out there and get his hands dirty. So it's a really lovely trait that he has. He likes to help people, so we really try and encourage that. Anyway, getting back to my pocket here. So I've got it very simple. As I said, the torn paper there, I've popped the die cut title words in the middle. Now I'm just digging through for a few stars to embellish around the title. Now, initially I pulled out the stars that are printed on the white background, but when I tried to put one of those on the page, I realized that the white background behind the star was sort of distracting from the title, and I really wanted that title jumping off that card. So I went with the stars that have no white border, and they just blended more back into the background and allowed the title to pop. So you will see when I work on these pages, and my apologies, my brain is already at this point starting to think about the photo in the next pocket. So as I'm digging through the ephemera pack and I'm seeing things that may work for that photo, I'm already pulling them out and putting them on my desk mat there before I've even finished the pocket before. So there's the arrow that I pulled out from the ephemera pack, and I'm just using my tape runner there to stick it directly onto the photo, and you'll see that I go in with my scissors. I often stick these little embellishments so that they are hanging over the edges of my photo, and then I just trim the edges off with my scissors. Now, down the bottom of that photo, I wanted some sort of thing weighted down the bottom of that photo, because you can see all of the action is in the right-hand side of that photo and up more in the right-hand top corner of that photo. So I wanted to fill some of that space that was down in the bottom left-hand corner. I added a little strip of paper that I got from the cut-apart sheet. Then I added a label sticker from the accessory sticker sheet. Now, again, I applied that so it ran off the edge of the page, and then I just trimmed a little bit of it off. And then I used a roller stamp from my stash, and I just stamped the words "Today We." And I just stamped it multiple times, and that pretty much explained what was going on. Today we, and that's what they were doing. Again, I added a star to that photo just to help tie in the star theme that was running across both of these pages, and that was it for that photo. Now, by all means, if you are creating pocket pages, don't feel obliged to stick things on your photos if you don't want to. I like to, because it just gives the viewer's eye more to look at as they're moving around the page, and that's what I sort of aim for when I do these pages. I like lots of little things for people to look at and read, and things to get them engaged in what they're looking at. So the next photo there that I dealt with was a 3x4 photo in that middle row. I didn't want to put too much on that, so again, I just went with a simple little phrase down the bottom that said "Smile Big," and I used a couple of those gorgeous puffy stickers, the little star-shaped ones, and that was very simple, that one. That was that photo done. Tick. Now, the next card in that row, that This Rocks one, I left alone. The next photo I left alone, and then the next card in that row that you can see has got that watercolor earth on the bottom of it. I just took that off, added my journaling with my typewriter, popped it straight back in. I added nothing more to that. So now I'm up to that pocket down in the bottom left corner. Again, it was a photo of the boys working out in the yard, and you can see I took that photo from above when they were working in this garden. It's got a very dominant sort of square, well, rectangular shape in it. And I wanted to echo that with the little embellishment. So I chose a label sticker and I stuck that at the bottom, just trimmed off the bottom edge of it slightly and sat it inside the rectangle. And I think it echoed that shape really well. Again, I kept it simple. I added a phrase sticker to the top of it. I added a couple of die cut stars to it. And I also added that little banner phrase at the top there that says "Play Hard." That was it. That was what I did for that one. Pop it in the pocket. It's done. My final one, I had those two. Now, this came from the cut-apart paper in this collection. It had those two different prints on it, which are designed to be cut apart. I just left them together because they worked with where I put them. Now, the embellishment I'm putting on top there is actually a sticker from the chipboard sticker sheet. Now, you might think that chipboard is too bulky to go in a pocket page, but it's not. Just use your craft knife, peel off a few layers of the chipboard from behind, and you'll find that they'll fit into your pockets beautifully. So I had that Adventure Unlimited little piece that I put on top of the watercolour side there. I added a few little of those puffy stickers, the star-shaped ones again. And then on the right-hand side, I typed out some strip journaling, which I'm just cutting into strips there. You can see me sticking it on. And I finished off this bottom right card. You can see that star print paper there. I fussy cut one of the stars from that and stuck it on there because that star print paper was still sitting on my desk, and it was the paper that I fussy cut the stars from for my main layout from this spread. So that was just another way to tie those two pages together. Now, after I'd stuck that little star on, you will see me stick on a little banner sticker that says "Life is Good," and I am pretty much almost done at this point. As I said, these are not hard, they're not technical. I like to keep them busy, not too busy. You can see that those, like the photo and the card in the center of the page there, they're not overly busy because people's eye still needs a place to rest. But I do like to stick on lots of little details so that it keeps people interested when they're looking at them. And I have to say, these are my kids' favorite things to look at when they look in their albums are these pocket pages, because they have so much more detail and stories and they love them. Anyway, that was it. There's my pocket. I hope you enjoyed that. If you missed my video for the layout, I'll put a link up above now, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.